Hi, and welcome to the Teahouse chat, Forest Rock's Teahouse chat. So everybody, welcome to the people who've signed in. Good to see you. Hello, Sabrina. So if there's any questions for me today, I can pour a cup of tea while you're thinking you're coming up with a question to ask me, or anything, or if you want to discuss anything today, or any philosophy that you want to talk about today, I'm going to pour you a cup of tea as well. So you have a cup of tea, even though you can't drink it, but it's good manners to pour you one. And I'll pour myself one too. So while we're chatting, yeah, cheers.
I have a couple of questions.
Go. I'm sure you're going to. I'll turn the volume up so I can hear you. There you go.
The first one, they're just very simple questions. Is it true that Shiba Shir just means 18?
18 exercise, yes. Shuba Shur means 18.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, was just
that's exactly what it says. But it's the full name Shuba Shur Tai Chi Qi Gong, so it's 18 grand ultimate exercises because Tai Chi means grand ultimate. So it's 18 grand ultimate exercises. That's correct. It's like Bhagwan Jin. Ba means 8.
That's my next question. I've always read about this 8 pieces of brocade. And yes. The other day it dawned on me, is that actually Bhagwan Jin? Is that the same?
It's exactly the same thing, yes.
Yeah,
Bhagwan Jin means 8 pieces of brocade.
Yes,
Bhagwan Jin means 8
I thought they were two separate things, and it only just dawned on me the other day that it's actually the same.
Yeah, that's what it is. So it's bars, the 8. And the brocades are because they found the exercise printed on fabric. And that's why they call them the brocades, the 8 brocades. And that's where they come from. And as I say, the Shur Bashur just 18. 5 elements are pretty obvious, though.
Yeah, well,
there's 5 of them.
that even I got.
Yeah, they gives it away, so that's an easy one. Yeah. Anyway, other question.
One more question. I've heard in one of the many recordings that I've watched with you, I've heard you mention some cream that you use for eczema, some snake skin or something like that.
Oh, snake skin for yeah, I'm not big into it, but it works extremely well. There's a certain snake they use. I can't even remember the name of the snake. And they call it snake itch powder. And it comes from a particular snake skin, and they crush it all up, and you take the pills and things, and it's extraordinarily really good for eczema. It's just really good.
I've got like this little recurring rash on my feet, and it's not actually eczema, but it's just a rash. Do you reckon that would work for that?
Don't know. I would. It might not be eczema. I would check for, if it's on your feet, I would check for fungus as well. So I would get some fungal cream. There's lots of natural fungal creams you can get to put on that as well. It could be that. So that'll create redness as well. So I would do that one first before you go and find a snake. But the snake itch powder is fantastic. You could try it, but I would just check for. There's some. Actually, one of the best things for getting rid of the fungus was there are some shampoos with antifungal shampoos, and because they have a very light dosage of antifungal things inside them, and you can put that on, and you might find that'll be enough to get rid of it. So.
Okay.
Try that. I always try to go for natural products. Go for a natural one if you can find one, but I would rather go for natural to get rid of it.
Tea tree oil is very good for anything fungal, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
That might be a good one.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all for me. I probably won't stay very long because I have to get my son to his year 12 ball today. So I'll have to.
How cool is that?
I have to leave very soon, so I'll just be here for a few minutes, hang around for a few more minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's great to see you, and it's always, the ball is pretty special, isn't it? So that's very cool. Enjoy.
First time I saw my son in a suit today, so very excited.
Yeah. It's quite scary, really, isn't it, when you see your child wearing a suit, and they're no longer a child anymore, are they? They grow up really quickly, don't they?
Yes.
That's great.
All right. Like it. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem. And please, if you have any other questions, you know how to contact me anyway, so you can always message me anyway.
I will. Thank you.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Anybody else? Anybody else have a question for the day? So for the last few chats, we've had lots of philosophical discussions about things, which have been fantastic. But the last two ones, the first one I didn't record, and the last one there was an error in the recording. So unfortunately, I didn't get the recording of either of the two. So this is the first one we're actually recording properly. Hopefully that everything's going well with this recording, so we can keep a track of it, because there were some really great things that came up with the philosophy questions that came up about Chinese medicine and about philosophy itself. Came up in the first two. So I think it's been a really valuable place for people to chat. But anyway, don't be shy. Ask me anything you like. It's absolutely fine. Quite day to day. There was, or if you want to ask a question too, just put on the thing. There's a little where it says reactions. You push down there. It's got a little hand. It says raise hand, and you put a hand up, and I can see you want to. Have you got a question? And I'll answer your question for you anyway. I've just been recently writing a document for the 5 elements. 5 elements for one of the retreats here I'm doing, and I'm actually doing it in Jakarta. And I was talking about the different aspects of the 5 different breaths, depending on the elements. And so there's 5 different sorts of movements to do with the elements, and 5 different breaths to do with the elements, and 5 different mental, emotional aspects of the elements as well. It was so fascinating. I wrote it all out, and I'm going to do it as a presentation. I thought it was really useful to understand, and a lot of them are logical things to do with steel being very, very straight and very forward, where Earth's a very nurturing thing, but it's also Earth's about growth and development. And they all have their own characteristics, and you can see them, the characteristics in nature, but it also has an effect, doesn't it, on us as a human, about how we are in the world, and how we grow and how we learn. And the elements describe it really well. It's a really useful document. So if you get a chance, I'll probably do this presentation on the next 200 hours as well. I think it's really, really useful to me. I had it all information. I just put it all together. And I think when I finished it, I thought, oh, what a great document to put up. And I'll put it up on the next 200 hours, and I'll put it up on the online one as well. I think it's a really useful piece of information around how they communicate together, not only the physical action, but the breath, and where one of the breaths, the fire breath, when you the fire the breath is a lot stronger, and it's like flames, where the water, when you're breathing with the water, it has a flow, and it has a fluidity that comes with it. There's a calming effect on the breath. And so it's about doing the exercise and using the different breaths to emulate the actual 5 elements. It's fascinating. Anyway, so I just thought I'd just mention that, because nobody's asking me any questions. And so I think you never stop learning. I think you can always just keep learning more and more. And I've, over the years with my teacher, I used to write it all down. So I've got squads of books and pages and lots of information around it that I've got that really useful. And I've never actually really formalized. One of my goals in life is to do all that monastery classes I did, and to put it all together and make a book out of it, because there's lots of very, very useful information about how the monastery saw the world, how their philosophy was, and how human beings fitted into their philosophy of life. And their goal in life was all about harmony, and about being connected to yourself, other people, and nature, and how you live in harmony with that. It's a really, really beautiful philosophy. But as I say, I've got lots of poems and pieces of paper. I used to write it all out. I've got books that I used to take along and write it in my book, and run out of books, get another book. And so it's useful. But the 5 element stuff I just went looking for it, because I knew I had some stuff on it. So yeah, it's really, really interesting. I think you can, as I say, I don't think you ever get to the end of learning traditional Chinese medicine. It just keeps going, and understanding how it all fitted together. And I think Terry this morning, from the monastery class this morning, was asking me questions about the Yellow Emperor's book. And it's really complicated, because it all talks about the seasons, the time of the seasons, the energetic of different seasons, and how it changes from the northern hemisphere to the southern hemisphere. And it's a fascinating study, but it's a lot. But I've got to do something at night time, so it's nice to read. It's nice to read some of these things. I don't try to read them before I go to sleep, because actually sometimes if I want to go to sleep, I just read a traditional Chinese medicine book, and it puts me to sleep, because they're very complex. But anyway, any questions? Somebody ask me a question. Come on. Anything. Don't be shy. Usually we have people with their hands up, and a whole row of people asking me questions, so you're very welcome to ask me. Quite day to day. What else can we chat about today? What can I chat about to inspire somebody to ask me a question? Philosophy. We just finished the long life course, the long life Qigong course. And then the last one we just done last week was we did it live here for 4 days. We did the Zhang Gong. I really like the Zhang Gong, but it's a hard set of exercises. They're static postures. You don't move. You hold postures, and inside the postures, you relax. And the energy just moves around because the posture is like perfect positions, and the posture is all about the movement of energy. And it builds discipline and it builds courage inside the exercise. And so I was talking a lot about how important it is as the practice, how important the practice is. So we think of practice as if you practice the Qigong or you practice the Gong, and you practice inside the postures. So you get the physical benefit from the practice, whatever the exercise are. You get the physical benefit of the postures, the articulation of your arms and legs. You also get the benefit of moving the energy around the meridians and up and down, depending on what posture you're standing, because it all moves qi and unblocks any blockages in your body. But there's another part that comes to it, which I was talking about this morning, was about the practice itself. And the practice is the key. The practice is, but it's not whether you're practicing Qigong, it's just practice. It's the understanding of the concept of practice itself because what practice does, if you do anything, you practice something daily, and you turn up, you show up daily to something, and you turn up and you want to learn something daily. By doing something every day, you create, there's lots of things that come with it, but you have to have courage to keep doing that. So use the courage one to start off with. So you create a training program. And then it takes courage to adhere. That takes determination to keep showing up every day and keep practicing. Qigong is just one of the particular practices I'm talking about. It's anything you practice. Where you're practicing playing the piano, practicing, I don't know, playing the guitar, anything you practice at that you have to make the effort to do. And by making the effort to do it, it builds a certain muscle in your body. And that's the determination and discipline, because you need discipline to turn up as well. And so it grows the discipline, it grows the perseverance, grows the courage just by tuning up. It doesn't matter what you're tuning up for. I mean, I'm just talking about the Qigong practice or a Tai Chi practice, where you turn up every day. Every day I go to the beach and I train, or I practice every day. Or sometimes I go to the gym a few times a week as well. But I make the effort. And what happens is the more you make the effort, you actually choose to do it. Even if I don't feel like doing it, I make the effort. And what that does is grow something very special inside you, because when you grow discipline and perseverance and you keep doing something, that particular muscle, the discipline muscle that grows, affects you on a whole nother level, and it's got nothing to do with the discipline. Because once you have the perseverance and discipline in doing just that, then that carries through for everything else you do in life, whether it's to do with work, it's to do with your relationship. You work on your relationship. You make it work. You go through the hard times. You go to work and you deal with things differently. You have the patience and the perseverance to sort things out, so that pattern that you grow, the pattern of turning up, of showing up every day for a practice, creates a bigger reaction in your life. It's not just the practice of the Qigong, it's actually what the practice does. And the more you practice, the more the determination grows, the more the discipline grows, the more the connection to yourself grows as well. And the more you do it for yourself, and the more you feel yourself growing and accomplishing things, then not only do you grow your own character and your own personality gets stronger and stronger and stronger, then you start achieving things differently, because you have the same determination to everything you do. But it rolls into the other parts. It's not only does it roll to work and to your kids and to your play and everything else, you have discipline and drive to do things. But what it does is also inside that creates a understanding of yourself inside yourself, which creates, then you start learning about being in the present moment, because you're always with yourself, doing something with yourself. And inside the present moment, you discover the stillness. And inside the stillness, you discover the quietness. And inside the stillness and quietness, you discover that you are connected to something else. And then you think it just all goes and all starts from just choosing to get up and going to do the practice. Because that practice creates a certain flow on from that, goes right through to the fact that you're spiritually connected because you're more aware of yourself. And that came up in the class this morning. I think it was really useful, and it's nice to be able to share this with you. And I think that muscle and how it changes your life and how it changes the way you see yourself, the way you show up in your own self-discipline, the way you spend time with yourself, the way you have connection to yourself. And once you're involved with that, then you realize you're not alone, that you're connected to something else. It's not necessarily the people, it's connected to something else because of this time you spent in the present moment with yourself. And the practice does that. And no matter what it is, it doesn't matter what particular modality of practice it is. And I think that's really useful to understand how important it is, because I always say, people ask me, you just got to practice. It doesn't mean you just got to practice, because it's the practice is the key. The practice is showing up every day, tuning up every day, even though when you don't feel like it, and just doing it anyway. And we've all had the experience of once you've practiced and you didn't want to do it, and you got up, you did the practice, after you feel fantastic, you say, God, I'm glad I did that. We've all had that experience. So it's the same thing. Yeah, anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. So hopefully you find that useful anyway. Might be helpful. I went to a pianist. We're speaking about people with perseverance and discipline. Up in Ubud and here in Bali, there was a Russian pianist. And I think he lives here at the moment, but he's extraordinary. He was doing Chopin. Well, I don't think he'd do Chopin. He was playing Chopin. And Josh and I both went to watch this concert. And I was sitting about from here to the camera away. It was really close. And I was watching him play show in his hands. And one of his hands was playing all these notes. And the other hand was playing a whole lot of different notes. And so there were two things going on, completely different. And the two hands were talking to each other, and they were communicating with each other, so they were in time with each other, which was extraordinary. But the most extraordinary part that he wasn't even watching, he was just looking up in the air, and his hands were doing this, and he wasn't doing that. His hands were doing it for him. And he was just being present to his own body doing something. And I sat there in fascination watching. I said, oh, it's just Qi Gong at another level, because he played for like an hour and a half, and Chopin's extremely difficult music. And I think Chopin discovered something really special, that inside, if you could play his music, it would take you to the same place where you actually have to let go. Because you can't do this with one hand and that with the other hand, and your mind be in both at the same time and be working it. You just train yourself how to do it, and then just get out of the road, and the body does it for you. And I just watched him letting his hands do. His hands knew what to do, and he's just sitting watching his own hands. It was fascinating. It's the Tai Chi Qigong. It's the same principle, but his skill was amazing, and how he could just get out of the road of what his hands were doing by themselves. Afterwards, I went up to spoke to him, because I wanted to say hello to him anyway. He seemed like a cool dude. And he says, oh, it wasn't one of my good performances. I said, oh, yeah, I wouldn't know. But what he was talking about, we were discussing it, we were talking about was, because every time he thinks while he's doing that, he thinks it interferes with what's going on with his hands. But if he can stay neutral inside this and just let it happen, it's perfect. But what he catches himself is his mind interfering with it. His mind interfering with what's going on inside his body, because his hands know exactly what to do. And he played a lot of different songs. I don't know if you call them songs. in piano playing, but he was playing a lot of different tunes, different piano concepts. Or what do you call it? What do you call a concept? I'm not even sure what you call it. Anyway, he was playing lots of different songs, and they're all really different, and they're all really intricate, and all really difficult, and his hands were all over the place. And when he said, oh, it wasn't a good night, it was a bit rough tonight, I said, I would have never noticed. But as I say, he was talking about how you can stay focused on not being focused. how you can just get out of the road. Your hands already know what to do and don't interfere with the process. And I know that happens in the Qi Gong too, in the Tai Chi. You get to the stage where you're doing Qi Gong and you end up watching your hands, and you're not actually moving your hands, they're moving for you. And you get to be part of the movement, but you don't actually have to do it because you've already taught your body how to do it. And you just step back and watch your body move and be the witness. And people that are probably watching this have sometimes had this experience. If you've done any practice for a long time, if you played a guitar for a long time, you'll know when you're playing a guitar and your hands are just moving and you're not doing that, and they start playing by themselves. And it's such a fascinating thing, watching this guy at that level be able to just let go and his hands were going really fast and just trust himself that he already knew what to do and get his mind out of the road of that. And so I wanted to mention that, which is very similar to what we were just talking before about the discipline and the perseverance allows him to go into the space where he somehow is connected to something else. The whole room was just the energy of what was coming through that song, what Chopin created inside that music, which just took everybody else into that place too. And you're sitting there just mesmerized by sound, of all these integral sound that your mind can't even begin to understand, but it tries to sit and rest inside all the sound schemes that are coming from the sound of the piano playing. It was fascinating. And just another one of the ways that you can just let go. Pretty difficult ways to, because there's a whole lot of things about you as a pianist making mistakes and not thinking you're good enough and all that sort of stuff. But it's all about letting go and just letting it be. And I know the Qigong's the same thing. It's just about getting out of the road and let the Qigong do you. And just trust that your body will move by itself without you having to do it. And I think it's a great thing. It was beautiful. And that was all about the discipline, all about the perseverance. And for him, courage, just the courage is to just let go and just know you'll be okay. Know that the hands will just do what you've taught them and you have the courage to just let go. Yeah, that's what I got from that. It was my take home, and Josephine and I were talking about it on the way home in the car, just how extraordinary it was. The good thing is he's got another concert coming up, so we've already bought our tickets to that. We can go and watch him again. I can sit and watch that for hours. Just watch him disappear out of the space. And when he's not in the space and the sound's coming through him, through his hands, then it creates this thing that happens inside that room, which is just mind-blowingly beautiful. It's just like transports you. They like they call it transformational. I don't like that word, but that's what it does. It does transform your consciousness to a very, very different place. It's very exciting to watch this. So if you get a chance to go and see something like that, gee, I like to go watch musicians that are like that. They're fantastic. Anyway, a couple of chats anyway. Anybody got any questions? Please ask. I'll have a cup of tea.
Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, look, I relate to what you're saying about pianists. I have a friend who's a pianist, and usually the pianist or the musician notices when things have gone wrong first, and then it's the critics, and only last is it the audience. Anyway, my question is, I've just recently discovered you and Forest Rock, and I've read most of the PDF that you so generously offered, and I've had a look at and many of the other emails where you've spoken about the offerings in terms of courses, and I've done Qigong quite a lot. I like your very subtle and nuanced approach to teaching and the precision of the placement of the poses and the architecture of the poses and discussion about the flow of the qi and the Chinese medical aspect. I'm very interested. I've deliberated a lot too about becoming an instructor with many other different Qigong facilitators. And my question relates to, it's 200 hours. So can we dip in anywhere and it all goes towards the 200 hours? Is there a specific structure or sequence of courses that we do? I've noticed here that you've got the heaven to earth, which is for quiet mind and tension-free body. And then you go into, there's another course that follows that, which is the level 1, Heaven to Earth Qi Gong.
Yeah.
And then you've got the 5-element Qi Gong with the 6 healing sounds. And that's followed by the level 1 5-element Qi Gong. And then you've got the Zanzong Qi Gong. So some of these are, quite probably which would fit in within my budget to start off with Heaven and Earth. And then the Zanzong, they're both similar, in price, which could be sort of initially starting off. I hope you've caught my drift as to what I'm asking.
No, I'm keeping up with you. It's fine. Keep going. And I'll answer what I think you're asking me. I'm not sure, but I'll do my best. I think it's to do with the course. So there's lots of different structures of how we've set it up. So we have, if people just want to learn an introduction course, they just want to try Qigong, they've never tried it before. So there's a whole series of introduction courses. And for each of those introduction courses, if you like that particular system, then you can go and do a level 1 course of the same system, which goes to a whole other level of depth of understanding of the exercises, plus more philosophy, plus there's Q&As on those level 1 courses as well. And so you can do it, you can go that way. You can just do individual courses or individual systems, which people do. There's another one, which of course is the system where if you want to do 200-hour teachers training, it doesn't mean you need to be a teacher, just that's what we call it, because there's a lot of people that do the 200 hours aren't teachers. They do it to take their own learning, their own Qigong practice to another level, because it's just going to elevate it a lot.
Yes, well, that's what I thought, because, we have to begin with ourselves. Not that I'm really wanting to be a facilitator, because I'm very fascinated. I've always been fascinated by Chinese medicine and Qigong, and so your teaching so far has really piqued my interest to take it into another level.
Yeah, I'm glad I've inspired your enthusiasm. That's great. So with the teachers training, so if you want to learn it, so you can do, as I say, you can do teachers trainings. There's I've got 3 different varieties of how you can do that. You can either do an online course and do a teacher's training. And during that course, they do 3 different systems. I do the Shiba, Shi, Tai Chi, Qi Gong, the 5 elements, and the Heaven to Earth are all part of the teacher's training, and do those ones. There's also a couple of extras in there as well. I think there's about 5 different Qigong systems for the level 1 teacher's training. But for that particular training, you can do it live here in Bali. You can come and do it for 23 days. You can do it online, which takes 9 weeks, or you can do it self-paced, and you can do it however you like. And it's the same content in all 3 courses. It's just depending on which way is easier for you to do and what your budget is. And so, as I say, the content of all of them is pretty much the same. The 2 online ones are the same content all the way through, except for the online one, not the self-paced, but the online one. We have live Q&As like we're doing now. Every weekend we have Q&As, and so people can ask questions about all the things they've learned during the week. And that's for 9 weeks. You get a Q&A, 2 Q&As a weekend. With the live one, the 23 days one, of course, it's just constant. You start at 7 o'clock in the morning and finish 6 at night, and it's a very different experience than an online course. And I don't say one's better than the other. I just say that they're different. With the live one, you can't compare a live one with online. There's no comparison. One's an elephant.
No, it doesn't go. It doesn't work that way, does it?
It doesn't. And one's an orange. They're not even in the same family. They're just 2 totally different experiences. We teach the same thing, but the experience is totally different. And I'm never going to say one's. I was always an online live person. Everything had to be live. That's what I thought. And then when we started, a few years ago, we had to take them online because that's how we were going to teach them. And they've been really, really popular. And I've converted to seeing how good the online practices can be, and how close you get as a community, because we do the Q&As, we're talking to each other, we can see each other's heads, and we're chatting like we're doing now. We chat with each other, we get close, we ask all the questions about the practice. We have this, you end up creating this family over the 9 weeks. It's really, really cool. But live, totally different experience. It's a very different thing. We do different things on the live one, which of course we can't do in the online one. So that's the progression of doing that. Or you can do them individually. You can do the advanced Shirba Shir, the level 1 Shirba Shir, the level 1 Heaven to Earth, and the level 1 5 elements, and then do a module 2, and you can put it together individually too if you can do that way too. So there's all these different options. My goal, of course, is just to get people to practice Qigong because it's so good. It just has a very, very different effect on people's lives, and whichever way they want to start and how they want to do that. But you can also message me too if you want a private conversation around. You're quite welcome to ask me. We can just email Forest Rock, and you'll get to Josephine, my wife, and she'll just we can just tee it up if you want to ask any questions about it.
Oh, that would be superb. You know, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, you can ask her too. She's an integral part of it. She does all our live course. She does all the sound journeys and things. She's a musician, and she does all the sound journeys, which are extraordinary. But we run the business together. We've been doing it for years together, so she knows everything about it as well. So you can chat with her. She's great. But that's just different ways of doing it, and it's more about what you really want. You've got to go back to the places. What do you really want with Qigong? Do you want to increase your own knowledge and self-practice, or you don't want to practice one particular set? Or is it for health, or is it for fitness? Is it for spiritual development? Depending on what you want is which course you're going to do, because they're all quietly geared for a slightly different thing. They have a different flavor. All of them are slightly different. So then part of that will be work out which one you want from that, and I think that'll be useful.
I think you had one there for quiet mind, and then you've got the other one, 5 elements for the lower back problems and knees. And I've had tinnitus, vertigo, which is not really pleasant. I know I tend to be sort of, spleen chi ju, and I tend to be a little bit more towards worrying, which I call being existential, really.
For sure.
And so
we all do that. We all think about things. It's pretty hard not to think.
Well, that's right. I mean, to the extent of overthinking and
pretty much.
And particularly with what's been happening over the past few years.
Oh, it's just crazy.
Everyone's being in a space of not knowing what's going to come next.
It's exactly, and this is what you're saying, that what is going to happen next, nobody knows. And so
that's right. It's the unknown aspect.
Yeah, it's the unknown, and we just don't know what's going to happen. So that's created a fair level of anxiety in the world, and unhappiness I think the unhappiness comes from this, the fear of the unknown. I wouldn't call it even fear, just the unknown itself. It's creating a vibrational energy. That's why Qigong's so good, because they can get rid of that feeling. It takes it off you. And like I practiced this morning, and I feel like fantastic today, and the whole world to just go away today. I don't care. I just feel really good. And I think that's what Qigong does. It allows you to have that feeling. You get it back. And with all the stuff in the world, you go, oh, it just doesn't matter. Because a lot of it we can't affect it anyway. We can't change. We can't stop them fighting in different countries. We don't have the ability to stop that. But we have the ability to be happy and do what we love in our lives, and make our lives happy in a place of joy and accomplishment and things. We can do that. And I think it's getting back to that place where we have the power of that. We have the power of our own happiness. And to how do we create that? And I use Qigong as a beautiful vehicle to bring that back into people's lives. It's just a great vehicle. Anyway.
Yes. No, I totally agree. No.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
I guess I deliberate too long about.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't
decisions.
Don't procrastinate. Don't procrastinate.
Oh, you call it procrastination? I call it
just do it. Just do it anyway. At the end of the day, these are these things you do, and at the end of it, you go, God, I'm glad I did that. And about everybody who does these courses, they say, oh, it's the best thing. I'm so glad. But we all have that reservation, and then sometimes it's around money too. Don't let the money get involved in that either. And you just know that when you choose to do something in your life, the funny thing is the money will come for it. It just does. It just comes because it does, because it's the right direction. And so you've got to get that one out of the road of it as well, because it's not about the money. It's way bigger than the money. The money is the easy part. Making the step, the determination or the courage to make the step, that's the hard part. And when you have, because I was talking about that a little bit before, and just do it. Just I cannot encourage it. And look, watch that. I don't even care whether you do it with me. You can do it with anybody. Just do it. Just go and learn Qigong from anybody. It's just such a great medium. I'm not.
Yes, well, I've actually done a lot of Qigong with lots of different people, I've got a huge archive. And then you came along, and I thought,
Fantastic.
it just felt like a yes. And then I saw all these courses, and I thought, well, maybe I could start off with, the $98 courses, like the Heaven to Earth.
Yeah, try that.
Dan Song.
It's a fantastic course. Yeah, do that.
And then I could sort of then move on to the other ones, and the money will come for those.
Absolutely.
Like
It
the
just
level
will.
ones.
It will just come. And enjoy that course. And you know that now that you've met me, you see me doing the videos, you know who's doing them, because you can have some relationship with that person. And I offer you, why we're here, is if you have any questions about the course, just contact me and we can talk about it. I mean, I just want you to practice it. The Heaven is a fantastic set. It's a very extraordinary set of Qigong exercises. But as I say, it's not about, I'm not trying to promote courses, and it's not about that. It's about people. I'm going to promote people. And
I totally agree with you. I don't like
people
that
happy
whole,
again. Yeah.
Yeah, I too don't really like that paradigm of promoting courses or products. And I guess, what I see with your training is like it's about the practice to access the spiritual resources.
Yeah. Well, that's my main thing anyway, because of the monastery teaching that I come from. Because I have a basis in monetary teaching, so mine's always about the spiritual connection, about who we really are and what we're really connected to. So it's really important for me. I mean, I teach a certain way. Everybody has their own thing that they teach. I just have a certain way I teach, a certain way that I want to live my life and how I want to help other people if they want to do that. But I definitely want to understand. I'm fascinated by who we really are as a human being. Who this energetic that we can pray for somebody on the other side of the world and we can heal them. I want to know who that person is. How do we do that? Who are we that we can actually create that? That's what fascinates me. If we can do that, what else can we do? And that fascinates me too. So
I understand. I speak the same language. So
very, very cool. That's very cool. I love it. Oh, come and do a course. Come and hang out. Come to Bali and come and do a live one with me and have fun. They're fantastic.
Well, I could do both, couldn't I? I can do the online and then further on the track, come to Bali.
Yeah, come to Bali. Come and have a holiday and come and do one of the courses. We do one in Europe. We do one in Europe every year, but that might be further away. We do one in Tuscany in Italy every year to do a retreat for 7 days in Tuscany. So what are we doing this year? We're doing the Sheba Shue Tai Chi Qigong this year. And so I do a different system each year. I go to Europe, and so there's that one too. So, but these are all, not that I want to sell any of that, but they're all on my website. Even when I say that, it sounds wrong, but they are.
I know, this is the clumsiness of language, isn't it? Yes.
Well, the problem is, and we market, I get people to come along to course. This is the irony of the whole thing. I get people to come along to my course, and then I bag people about being completely addicted to social media and scrolling and social media and how it's affecting people's life and consciousness and how it's dumbing people down. And then I use social media to advertise them to get them to come to the course. I mean, I feel like a fraud.
Fraud. It's a paradox.
I do the thing, but I tell them it's not good for them, but I actually use it. And so it's like, where do you put that? I don't know. It's a funny thing, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's right. I mean, I think that I look at the paradigms and I think there has to be a beyond.
Yeah.
Beyond is my word.
Yeah. If I don't do that, people will never hear the message. They won't hear what I've been given, what happened to me. They won't hear it. So you've got to put yourself out there, as much as I'm not big into that, but you just have to. And then people find you. And then so that's just the way it is. It's as I say, it's a paradox. It's a crazy thing, isn't it? Crazy world we live in.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful to hear you speak. Thank you very much for having this.
Oh, you're very, very well. Thank you for your question. I hope to see you on a course anyway. So come and do one of the courses. I'll remember your name. So because it's an interesting spell with a Y. I like it with a Y. How do you pronounce that?
Qian.
Yeah, it's great.
Qian.
Yeah.
The way I say it is G-Y.
G-Y. G1. That's very cool. I noticed the name. That's cool. Very cool. Well, thank you for your questions, and you're very, very welcome to follow it up. And as I say, just go to info at Forest Rock, and you can contact Josephine, and she'll answer any questions or pass them on to me if she's not quite sure. Anyway, you're very welcome. And I'm glad
Thank
that
you so much.
I'm glad that you learned lots of Qi Gong, and I'm glad that you've found me, and hopefully I can help you with a part of your journey. Hopefully I can be in there somewhere to help you keep going. So
Thank you
yeah.
so much.
Oh, pleasure. Pleasure chatting.
Pleasure was likewise.
Any other questions on this Sunday afternoon? Well, it's our Sunday afternoon, but not everybody's Sunday afternoon. I think it's most America's morning. Anybody else? Well, it's a quiet day here. It's not a lot of questions today, so that's good. Well, it's good in one way, not good in another. What else can we talk about today? What else can I say that inspire somebody who asked me a question? I should do a really I should bring up something contentious. Bring up a contentious subject that then make people want to talk about it. There's a few of them around in the world at the moment. Oh, I don't know. What can we do? Simulation theory. There we go. I'll get you going. Simulation theory, that we live in a simulation. How's that? And there's more and more people talking about this, which cracks me up. And I'm not saying it because I actually believe there's some truth in that. But I think it's a fascinating study. And I think as AI wakes up, as AI starts to self-realize itself, and I use AI, I think it's extraordinarily useful. But as AI wakes up and becomes more conscious, then what we're doing as humans, we're becoming more conscious because of it. The weird thing is, we made AI, we made the computer. And it's like, did we replicate the way we think that we're a computer, and we created another computer like ourselves? Because basically how the computer works is the same way we work. And so have we fabricated a likeness of ourselves and AI? And as it's waking up, we're waking up to the fact we could be a computer too. And I love the thought of that. I can't prove any of that, but I just love the thought outside the realm of reality to question it. I think it's fascinating. I had when I was young, one of the thing I always used to ask was, why am I here? What's the point of life? What's it all about? It didn't make any sense. As a young kid, I couldn't work it out. And as I become an adult, I still couldn't work it out. I went into life and I did what people do because that's what people do. And I just did what my peers did. I did what my parents did. I did what my friends did. But there was always this question. I was always different to everybody. But my question was, well, what's it all about? What's the point? And I know my son asked the same question. And I said, well, I'm the last one to ask about that. I'm not sure. And so I think it opens the door of, and I've asked and done lots of courses with lots of masters and lots of gurus and lots of very enlightened people in the world, and asked them the same question: why are we here? And they all have a different answer, which cracks me up as well. You'd like to think they all agree on it. They all agree with the same answer, but they don't. So that fascinates me. It fascinates the whole life. And we come into the planet. I was talking to somebody the other day about that you look at the planet, and we've got all these different forms of religion in the world, and they all have slightly different beliefs. A lot of them have a God figure as such, or the person, the great consciousness, and then they have all that. And then all these religions have slightly different beliefs of what happens when you die, and why we're here, what the big picture is. And then they don't like each other. A lot of them they don't get on. And it's the spiritual people, the spiritual connections in the world with all these different philosophies. And then you get countries that don't like other countries. And then they fight about boundaries, and then you get inside the country, and people inside countries fight about their boundaries with the neighbors next door. And so we've got this strange world where half the people are trying to understand love and feel love and live between each other. The other half are trying to kill each other. And what a crazy world to walk into. And as a kid, I walk into that, and my son, I have a 7-year-old son, a new son. And he's got to try and make some sense out of that. And I said, well, I have worked it out. I don't know, ask me. Just doesn't. He said, why do all they fight? And I said, I don't know. They do. So why do all other people just want to be friendly and nice? And said, yeah, they do. They do both. There's yin and yang going on. And trying to make some sense out of the world to try and explain that to a child, why we do that. Why are people in this world, there's some people in the world that just not, and I'm saying this without judgment, just not so nice people. And there's lots of really beautiful people in the world. And they both exist, and they've been in this world forever. It's not as though they're just new. They've been around for a long time. And they both sides exist. And there are all these different factions and governments and politics, and it's just a crazy, crazy world, and the harmony. And all these countries try to have politics or political movements inside it to sort of let their country live in harmony and make money, and so they're all well off, and then the other party comes in and they change their view to what makes you all well and wealthy and well off, and you think they'd all have it worked out by now, but they don't, because it keeps changing. So they keep putting it in, and then it goes worse and goes back, and it's like, I don't know if you ever get there's an answer to it. It's just crazy. And you think by now the world would have worked out how to live in harmony with each other, and how they could make so everybody has everything they want and value, and everybody would feed all the poor people, because there's enough people to rich people to feed the poor people, and why and everybody would be well because there's enough understanding and knowledge for health, so they could make everybody well. But it doesn't happen, and it's never happened. And so my son's asked me questions about that, and I'm an adult trying to give him really really stock standard answers to that. And it's so difficult. There's the normal answer, of course, and that's it, go and ask your mother. That's all right. She says, go and ask your father. So it comes straight back to me. So I don't get quite out of that one. I try. Yeah, it's tricky. They ask the questions because they can't make any sense of it. It doesn't make any sense. And there's all this competitiveness in school, and now the male-female thing, which just, the kids just don't know what's going on. It's just such a funny world. Anyway, they're my contentious issue for the day, the crazy world we live in. And then go back to doing Qigong, where you come into harmony and peace with yourself and the thing outside of yourself, and all of that stuff just disappears. And you connect with nature and that raw energetic of that and the earth. And all of that just sort of subsides, and all the noise of that goes away, and then it's just you in connection. And in that place, you don't need anything else. You don't need anything else, because you are enough. So I think Qigong is a beautiful way of discovering that inside yourself. Anyway, yeah, that's my contentious summary. And we're all computers living in the matrix, living in a simulation. I just want to upgrade my computer, get rid of some of the old files that I've got on there because they're not serving me, and delete some of the files. Some of those files I got from the childhood, they're not useful. But I delete, because they're running in the background and I catch myself reacting to it. The files of my story about how I think the world should be, and how I should be, and how everybody else should be, my programming around that. I need to revisit some of the programs and delete them out of my system. Anyway, just a thought anyway. Oh, we got a question. Please go.
Hi, Pete. Is it working?
Oh, hello, man. Oh, good to see you, man. Good to see you again.
I'm also having my tea here in the
Finland. Yeah, I know, because you do tea ceremonies. That's very good.
Yeah. It was crazy. It was in the night, a snowstorm here. It's like 20 centimeters snow on the terrace now.
Oh, fantastic. Oh, I'm the exact opposite. It's stinking hot here.
Yeah, I can show you.
Oh, look at that. That's fantastic. Show me. It's great so everybody can see. Yeah, that's very cool. I mean, cool, not as but this is cool as it. I just love the snow. Snow's fantastic. Oh, what a beautiful view, eh?
It's it's really yin, really yin.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, because I really like this with my tea ceremony practice, this 5-element Qi Gong.
Right.
When I was living in Bali and I was there in your classes, and you recommended that it would be very good for me with my ceremony practice, tea ceremony.
Yeah, it's a good practice.
Because there is also, we work with the 5 elements all the time, and we drink the seasonal teas like every season we have the different traditional Chinese medicine teas. Like in a Qigong, there is this traditional Chinese medicine. There is this diet. So we have this tea also, what is seasonal, like according to the traditional Chinese medicine. Exactly. But yeah, this this I've been practicing this now 4 years about this 5-element Qi Gong, and I'm trying to learn always a bit more and understanding. And now when there is this snow season here in Finland, it's so much yin energy around because it's the snow and the water element season going on. So I've been wondering this when I do the series that because there is this 6 or 9 times doing this every movement.
Yeah.
And I've been wondering that if there is like a summertime or springtime, now there is this winter time, that is it okay if mixing a little bit, that maybe doing a little bit more that element of what is the season. So if thinking about the water element move, it's would be doing that maybe like 12 or 15 times or maybe double, because it's that season. And it's like in a diet in traditional Chinese medicine that we in winter time we eat more yin food, and also in tea we drink more yin, aged old teas, and this kind of like I drink now black tea, but it's more like energy in yin. So is it like when you do this 5-element series, is it okay to combine also to that set, that doing a bit more this what is the element of the season, that movement more than the others, but or is it always like that it's recommended to do all the same, like in harmony, all the 5 same? So that's my question.
Yeah, it's a great question. So thanks for asking. It's a really good question. So there was a few things I want to go back to a little bit because you mentioned some really good points. So if food grows, so we go to the food thing. That's why I gave you the 5 elements, because I thought that'd be the most useful thing for you because of what you do, and the tea ceremonies are important. But the 5 elements, if you think of the times of the seasons, and they all have a different energy. The seasons have a different energy from winter, like your energy at the moment, which is opposite where I am. So this has this cold. And so the yin foods are all warming foods. And so in that time, that seasonal place in the world, food grows in season. And cooling food grows in the summertime, and warming food grows in the wintertime. I didn't create this, ask God. This is clever. And so the food's there for you at the right time and thing. So if you keep in alignment with the season and the food, then you get the right yang food in the middle of the cold season. You get the cooling foods in the warmth, which is logical. And so now we take that into anything we do to do with food is about that has a thermic nature, and it has a seasonal time of when the crops come into production and then when they stop. And so there's a period of time. With the teas, of course, the teas are energetically, because the teas are to do with food as well. And the teas have a thermic nature, and the teas have an element to them as well. And so you can align the teas. And there's a great book about this, and I can't remember what the name of the book is, that talks about the different teas and the different seasons. You might already have it. And so that combination of that is such an important thing, because you're eating food of the season, you're drinking tea of the season as well. So it keeps you enjoying. And what it does is keep the harmony, keeps the balance. Now, as for the exercises, so if you're in balance, you can do the same exercise all year round to keep yourself in balance, and then the body will adjust to it. If the body gets out of balance, then you can do more of one exercise to bring it back into balance. Now, the question was more about, in the winter, should we do more exercises to motivate the element that's to do with the winter? Yep. And do we do more of them? Not necessarily, because if that element's already in balance, if you do too many of them, you can put it out of balance. So it'll all be about how your balance is with the elements themselves. It pays to do them all year round. But knowing that we as humans, we have a hibernation period, just like the animals and the birds do the same thing, so do we. And because we have, during the summer, we've had this very young period where we have long sunny days. So you have a lot more yang energy. And during the winter, because the nights are shorter, so you're only awake for a short amount of time, but you're sleeping for a long time. And so we have this hibernation style breath that happens to us, where we need to rest during the long nights, which is the way it works. And that's what animals do as well. And so how do we keep in tune with that? And the food dictates this one as well, especially to do with the 5 element. But I would say more about the exercise will be about balance. If you're in a harmony, you can just do the same exercise and do a practice of 12 times each exercise all year round, and you just won't get out of balance. Do you need to do more warming exercises in the summertime, in the wintertime, or more cooling exercise in the summer? Only if you're too cold or you're too hot to balance it out. But if you're not, then it's fine. And the food itself that you consume will balance anything out about the heat, because you get the heat from the food. Can you get heat from the exercise? Yeah, of course. But it's more to do with rectifying a problem, where if you're doing the exercise, it's more about maintenance. And the same with the food. It's about maintaining the level. And you balance it with exercise, you balance it with food, you balance it with herbs, you balance it with whatever it is that you're balancing in your life. You balance it with sleep and activity, and how you stay in balance with that all the time. And you'll know when you're out of balance. So, and to answer your question, because it's a big question you ask, it'll all depend on what's happening at the time and the level of harmony that you're in. And if you're out of harmony, then you will have to do more. And if you're not out of harmony, just don't do anything to take it out of harmony. Just leave it where it is. Don't try and fix something that's not broken. If you're in the middle of winter and you feel fantastic, don't change it. If you're in the summer and you feel fantastic, don't change it, because there's nothing to change. It's only when there's something happening that you feel, oh, my immune system's not good, I need to do that. That's a very different thing. So that's my short answer to a very big question you gave me, which is a really great question. So hopefully that's useful to you.
Yeah, it's thank you for sharing. It's so if I have got if I feel that I have got something unbalanced, like with my liver or my wood element, could I still do, even if it's a winter time, could I still take in a 5 element series, do that, like this liver movement, if I feel that something it's not balanced? So can I do that a little bit more? It's about also learn better myself.
Absolutely.
But so it doesn't need to be always 9 every element. It can be
any
according
element
to
can
self.
be any element can be out of balance any time of the year. It's not necessarily seasonal. The seasonal can affect it, but it could be out of balance for something totally different. So you just do whatever you need to keep the whole lot in harmony. Winter, summer, it won't matter. But does the summer and the winter affect it? Yeah, of course it does. But if you're in balance, the body will just keep balancing itself. It's very clever at working it out itself. It's only if you're out of balance do you need to do more of one particular exercise, or more of something, or eat more of that food, or take more of those herbs, whichever one it is, or drink more of that particular tea. And so it's the same thing. Yeah, it's great. You're on it. You've got it.
I know it in tea already well, because I've been teaching that. But for me, this 5 element set, even I've been doing now 4 years, I'm still learning that I see the harmony between the elements and learning the inner organs now, but I don't still know everything so well. That should I do more about the liver, or should I do more about the lung movement? That I'm still learning that what I should adjust. So this I'm now adjusting and learning to adjust that now I need more liver. But it's big understanding for me that I can adjust myself, that it's not done in the 5 element, that it need to be harmony and always 9 times.
Always you're looking for harmony. So you might end up you might just do a practice because you're out of harmony, and just do the wood exercise, just that, because that's the thing you need to do for the day. And you might not even do the rest because everything's really good, but I just need to feel that and just do that one exercise. So and as when you said, you don't know it all, neither does anybody else. This is such a huge subject. The whole Chinese medicine, you can talk to people that are professors in Chinese medicine, and they'll keep telling you we're still learning too. They're still trying to work it all out. It's such a complex thing of how it all fits together, and it's changing because the energy of the planet's changing. So everything's changing. The food's changing. Everything's changing. So it's constantly moving. Mine would be to understand the principle. What you've asked me would be, if you had a group of 5 people in the room, we'll say 10, we get a bigger group, and you were teaching them Qi Gong. Now, in that group of people, you're going to have people that are out of balance in the earth, out of balance in the water, out of balance in the wood, out of balance in the metal. You're going to have people out of balance in all the different ones. Be very seldom you'll get the whole group that are out of balance on one particular thing. You just do that exercise because they all need it. Or you might get a couple that are wood out of balance, so you can do it wood out, but you're going to get people in there that are the other ones. So it's like, how do you do that for yourself? Well, how do you do it for other people? It gives you an indication of how you can do it for yourself, because if you're almost doing, well, you need to do 5 of those, you need to do 10 of them, you need to do 20, you don't need to do them at all. And it's almost like that. But when you teach, you don't do that. So then you'll stay inside of practice, because you can't, in theory, you can't do too many of one exercise. So you'll do enough that the people that are depleted in the wood element, you'll do that exercise enough to build them up. The other people, they're just going to get more energy from the wood, which is not going to hurt them, because the body will regulate that anyway. But for the ones that are depleted in the wood energy, it'll bring it up to balance where they need to. The ones that get surplus, their body will rectify and just move it around the other places inside the body. So then it's about how you work that out, and by knowing people, you'll meet people, especially 5 elements, you'll meet people and you'll know whether they're in balance of the liver, or they're kidney depleted, or they're lung depleted. You're going to know straight away, because they have signs that give it away. And you'll know what the right exercise for them, and you know what's right tea is for them. You'll know what the right food is, because the food has all the thermic nature as well. And then you'll know what exercise. And so this is a life practice. You're only a young fella. You got the rest of your life to try and work this out. I still haven't got even near it. I just learning all the time. But it's such a beautiful study, and I think you get more aware of what's going on, and understand it more about the balance and the harmony. You're looking for this balance and harmony. You can never be perfectly balanced. It never happens. There's no such thing as perfect health, because it's always fluctuating. Because every time you have a meal, your energy changes. Every time you go to sleep, you wake up, your energy's changed. So it's always changing. What we're trying to do is we're trying to stop the big swings where you get right out of balance. We're trying to have this harmony where it just constantly has homeostasis, where it constantly rectifies itself. And we have this smooth transition, energetically, after food, before food, after you've gone to the toilet, everything changes it. And just this small wave of change, which is a nice way to put it. And so we're trying to rectify that. But you'll know what's happening with people. And if you see what's happening with people, how they're out of balance, then you're going to know yourself as well, because you'll be able to see it in yourself. Or you can do the other way, see it yourself and then see it in other people, whichever way you want to go. But you're going to notice more, and just a lifetime study. I don't know if you ever get to the end, you actually can say, I know it. I wouldn't think of anybody would ever say, oh, I understand TCM. There wouldn't be too many people would claim that fame to understand it, the complexity of it, because it's changing. Because we keep changing. Our energy keeps changing. Food keeps changing. So the whole thing with computers and EM signals, and now we're getting 4Gs and 5Gs and all that stuff, and we just don't know how that's affecting us. So all of this is influencing the energetic body of the human being in the world now. So there's just constantly change anyway. But I think you're doing really well. I think you've got a really good handle of it. I think you understand it really well. And so I think it's just keep learning, keep understanding more and more by understanding yourself. Something like that anyway. Hopefully that's useful. Yeah.
So if I do the liver, I feel that I only do the liver from the 5 element series. So do I do also the opening and closing, or I just go to the forest, or just in my room and I just do the movement just when I feel, or is it recommend also the opening and closing when you pick something from their series, like?
Yeah. I would do if you can, I would do the opening and closing, because it's a really good way. The first one's to get you in the right position, so it checks your posture before you do the wood exercise. So you get in good posture, so then you're going to get the benefit from the exercise. Clean out your lungs before you start doing breath practice. Clean out your physical center before you do it, and then do your wood element. And so you've basically you've cleaned your car, you've washed it, you've cleaned the windscreen so you can see. You put the fuel in the car, and now you start it up. So it's almost like you've got to do all those steps, and then you get the benefit from your car having all those things done. So you get the benefit from cleaning your lungs out, cleaning your physical center out, standing in good posture. Now when you start the exercise, it's already working. You start and it's already functioning. And so you don't have to do the exercise and then try to find this balance during the exercise. You've already got it before you start. And so it's going to amplify the exercise and make it way more efficient and way more effective. Anyway, to answer your question about
if I remember, it's also you teach about this. If doing the opening and closing, it's also connect to the lineage, and because if don't doing that, it's only the one practice. But when doing the opening closing, it's also connect more to this Forest Rock lineage. It's not just separate something somewhere.
Yeah.
So if I understand correctly.
Yeah, it's about connection. It's the bell does it. The bell itself, as soon as you bow, you connect to the Forest Rock school and the lineage of the school. And the other parts are all just part of it. So when you get to the liver exercise, it's already happening. You're already connected. And so it works a lot more effectively, a lot more efficiently, because you've already lined it all up and you put your mind in your right place, you put your heart in the right place, and you're connected to the ground. So you've already done that before you start. And so it's just going to be more effective. It just is. Even if you only do one exercise, it doesn't matter. Anyway.
Yep. I can say just shortly something about the tea. It's because the tea, many people when they boil the water, this is very basic thing, but very important. They ask me when they come to my tea ceremonies about the water, because many people, they have still the old-fashioned boiler that they just put the button and they put it and it just start to boiling. And many times people don't understand that when the water start boiling, it's affect to the qi of the water. So one of the most important thing with the tea water is about, if you think about traditional Chinese medicine, that first there come these like little bubbles from the tea. If you watch the water when it boils, it comes, they call it like in the tea ceremony, like scrap ice. Then there's come like this string of pearls, like bubbles coming from the bottom of the kettle, and then there comes this fish ice. And when the fish ice is like a bigger bubble starting to break, and the fish ice, when they start to break, it's the most of the best moment. Most teas, it's like good in that point, because after that they're starting the boiling point. And in the old tea ceremony, they say that if you start to this crazy boiling, it is called like old man's hair or 1,000 horses running on the valley. And if you let that stage be too long, it makes the qi of the water restless. And even if you have a good tea and you push the restless water with that tea, it's already affecting it. So I wanted to share it because this is people buy sometimes pure and good teas, and they put their this old man crazy hot water to their tea because they just don't watch the water when it boils. So if people have water boilers or something, just manually stop it, or stop boiling the water when it start to go to over the fish eyes, the big bubbles, because then it's go restless and qi is out of control, and it's not good if you are sensitive to Qi Gong and you do Qi Gong and you're restless, put inside your body the restless qi water, and that's not good. And that's some of the basics that even some people who practice tea, they don't know this basic of the qi of the water in this traditional Chinese medicine. So I just wanted to share something also here, because this is my mission to share about this cha down, this ceremony tea to people. So they are very hand in hand with Qi Gong. So something sharing from the tea world to the tea chat room.
It's fantastic. So I'll admit that I've just learned something just now, and I really like that. I've just learned something myself. I have heard something about the boiling of the water, but you explained it really, really well. And so that's a really, and it's logical if you do that to the water, do you get that much exchange, that many, the heat's banging, the electrons are banging around inside the water, and all the molecules, what's the change? You can understand if it's get that ferocious, how much it's upsetting it. And so it's a very, very cool point. I'll try it. See, I like to try things that I've never tried, and I'll see the difference in the fluid, the energy of the fluids, and I'll catch it. I'll go and watch it, and when it does that, I'm going to do. So thank you very much for that. I think that's a really interesting point, and so thank you for sharing that. It's very, very cool. I'm going to try. I'll let you know how it goes. Next Teahouse chat, I'll tell you how it goes. I'll be boiling water.
You can have another like a cup of crazy water. You boil it like a crazy, like a long time, like crazy, and then you do another with just fish ice, and you see what is the harm. Because every people who know the qi, they know that what is going on in the body when you drink it. So
I'll try that. I have the control version and the non-control version. I think it's great, and we'll be able to tell a difference. You will be able to tell a difference. I mean, my water I have here goes through 7 filters in Bali, 7 filters to get all all of the stuff out of the water and the TDS and everything out of the water, so the water is clean. So I don't want to have all this time and effort to create this really, really clean water which we have to drink and then boil it and wreck it. So I totally hear what you said. I'm going to do exactly what you said. I think it's great, and as I said, thanks for sharing that. I love learning things that I don't know. It's fantastic.
If you want one level up, you can take spring water, and if you want one more level up, you go to the Bali holy water and take holy Bali water, and then you can see even more differences.
Yeah, well, I can feel the difference of those waters, but not necessarily hot. But I can tell the difference of the water though, if from all of those places from the spring. The vibration of the water is really different, so different. But I haven't done the boiling water thing, so. I can understand about how it, because I see the boiling water, it's just going crazy, isn't it? It's like, it'd be interesting in what actually happens with the molecular structure of the water when you're boiling it really hard like that. I'll go and find out. I'll do somebody's obviously will put it up on YouTube somewhere talking about boiling water. They would have, somebody have already talked about this. So yeah, intrigued. I'm intrigued, man. So thanks for opening that door for me. As I say, I like learning things that I've never done before. So, and I'm really big into health. So I'm really big into trying to have the optimum health, how you can be as healthy as you possibly can be, and I always go back to how important sleep is. But the food is number two beside the sleep. Food, what you put inside your body, the vibration of the food has to be in harmony. Otherwise, it'll just throw you out. It'll just throw you out every time. Thanks. That's great. Thanks for that, man. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
No, thank you. I think it's fantastic. I like learning things. And I'm intrigued. I'll try it as soon as I leave, by the way. You've got me fascinated. I won't want to drink my tea now because I think it got boiled. So, but cheers anyway. Thank you for that. Ooh, any more questions before we finish today?
Pete, I've got one. It's Robin.
Hello, Robin. Hey, have you been for your walk? Did you go for your walk, Robin, or not?
No, I went for a walk this morning, but yeah, not again today.
Okay.
So I did know that it's better not to drink water, like that you shouldn't boil water twice. You should never boil water twice because it does change the molecular structure of it.
That's it. Yeah, okay,
so,
cool.
But that was fascinating listening to that. I really enjoyed that conversation.
Yeah, I did
but
too.
my kind of question is that, I live in Melbourne where we very much joke about having 12 seasons in one day. It's a very real thing here to be, at 38 degrees in the morning and 12 degrees in the afternoon and wind, rain, everything. So from a teaching perspective, is it a good thing to run through the 5 elements when there's such big weather changes like we do have? Like I tend to try to do the 5 element stuff if we're having this crazy weather to try to help people sort of acclimatize to the amount of different weather changes we have in one day. Do you have any kind of view on that? The other thing that was suggested once was about doing the late summer, like the earth, set in between each season to try to, because of in the Chinese calendar, how the seasons change a little differently to what our seasons change, that there's the period in between. So do you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, no, totally. So mine would be, it's all about your ability for your energy to change as the temperature changes, as the moisture changes, as the pressure, the air pressure changes around you, how fast your body can react and adjust to that. And that's about your Wei Qi. That's about your metabolism being strong. See, the stronger you are, the easier your body can just adjust. It's like jet lag. Most people get jet lag on the way home from their holiday because they've been doing so much on their holiday, they get really tired, they go home and they're actually exhausted. And then the body has trouble changing back to doing the time zones because it's actually tired. It doesn't do it. But if you're not tired, you don't get jet lag because the body will just adjust unless you have something imbalanced in your body that's going on. So the same thing with the seasonal, the weather changes in a day. So we have the same thing. It can be really, really hot and steamy, and then it starts raining, and it rains really pretty. But then the moisture picks up, so we have this adjustment. And our body's really clever. If you're really strong, really clever, it just adjusts itself. It's the thermostat changes. Your temperature in your body, your kidneys, which are in charge of the thermostat, start adjusting the temperature in your body. The dampness inside your body starts changing. Your pores start opening and closing differently depending on the moisture in the air and how hot and how cold it is. And it's really clever. It does it. It's such an incredible vehicle. But if your energy is strong, it does it really easily. But if it's not, then it struggles. And that's when you can get too much cold in your body, too much wind in your body, too much anything in your body, and it can throw it out. But doing the 5 elements, if you do all the 5 element exercises, or any Qigong set, because most of them have got exercise for everything, if you do a full set, it's just going to keep you in balance and keep your energy strong at the optimum level of energy. So no matter what happens to you, your body just keeps adjusting. If you hurt yourself, it'll just heal yourself quicker. Whatever it is, you'll sleep better. Everything will happen better because the body just adjusts itself because it's a lot strong, unless there's something going on with it that's creating it where it can't. And then you need to see somebody. I know that's not you personally, Robin, but if somebody has adjustment where they have this adjustment problem where it's difficult, then there's something sluggish going on in the energy fields inside the body. There's a communication that's not quite right in the body. And you can learn what the communication, find out what it is, rectify that, and you'll go back to harmonize again, back to harmony. So to answer your question, if you've got a lot of energy, your body just keeps adjusting. Really clever. I mean, whoever worked this thing out, bloody clever how it can adjust. It adjusts to the temperatures, just to the fluid, just to the moisture, just to the wind, just to the dryness. It just keeps rectifying itself it wants to be home, and it wants homeostasis. It does everything. It's trying to balance yin yang all the time. It's always trying to keep you healthy. It's bizarre. It's such a clever. It's this, whatever this is, it's a very clever piece of equipment. And the only thing you need to do is rest it, sleep it, walk it, and eat good food, and it'll just do everything for you. It self-regulates itself. It's an incredible thing. So that'll be the answer to your question. Keep healthy. You won't notice any difference in it, no matter what happens with the weather. It won't make any difference. You'll just adjust. Anyway, long answer to a very big question. Great question, Robin. Has that helped? Robin, come back. Don't tell me we're frozen. Are we still recording? Can somebody hear me?
Hi, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can. I wasn't sure.
Sorry, I'm in the car.
I wasn't sure whether I cut out or whether it's you. I wasn't quite sure. Did you get my answer?
I did. Thank you. That was great. So extension of that, then I'm noticing like my mum who's in her 90s and other older ladies particularly, I'm not sure about men, but they all say about, they can't handle the hot and the heat and the cold now. Yeah. So that's just that is that like a yin depletion or just a general?
Yeah, just don't have so much energy anymore. Their life force is not as strong. So the ability to change and to harmonize, it's just slower. So then they can't cool down when they're hot, and they're hard to warm themselves up when they're cold because they just don't have the energy for the change so much. And when you get old, you just don't have so much power. But in theory, we're going to get old and we have lots of power. You'll get old, Robin, and you'll have a lot of power because you train, and you'll be able to deal with the hot and the cold. The cold won't bother you, the hot won't bother you, the wind won't. Nothing will bother you because your body will just keep changing. But if your body's depleted, yes, it'll struggle. And that's what I would say about the older people. They just don't have the power anymore to make this. To their thermostats just doesn't change as fast. It's slower. Yeah, something like that. Hopefully you can hear me. Oh, you're very welcome. Hopefully that's useful, and hopefully that's useful for everybody anyway, just to understand. This is why it's so important to keep your energy level up. The more energy, the easier all this happens. The more tired you are, the more the body struggles. It's not really, it's just common sense. It's just logic. It's not nothing to do with me telling you this. It's just a logical thing. So that's what we've got to do, is just keep our energy to the max all the time. Good food, sleep, exercise. Can't go too far wrong. You need to exercise your body, and you need to sleep. Big ones with the world of sleep. And you've heard me say this so many times. People don't sleep enough. Sleepiness, quality sleep, not just sleep, but quality sleep is such an integral part of being alive as a human. You just have a very different life if you're not tired. It's really that simple. You have a great life if you're not tired. Anyway. Any more questions before we finish? And I go and check my bully, my tea.
I'd just like to say that this has been absolutely phenomenal.
You're welcome. That's good. And welcome to the group. It's just really lovely to meet a new person. So you're so welcome. And the questions.
I appreciate all the questions that people have asked and your lengthy answers. It's just been amazing.
Yeah, you're welcome. Oh, we're all doing our bit to try and help each other. So I think these things, the chats are useful because I think we can help each other. So yeah, it's pretty cool. And I learned something today. I'm going to check my boiling water problem. And I'll message him because I have I'll message him personally to tell him what happened. So thank you. That's great. And thank you for your comment. Yeah, it's cool. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Yeah, or a night. It depends where you are in the world, day or night. I think it could be in the morning or night. Have a beautiful day and a beautiful week. And we'll see you. The Teahouse chat next month, of course, is at the other time. It's the first thing in the morning. So, but I will be recording it, so you'll still get to see it anyway. And I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it yet. I don't know whether it's going to put it up on YouTube or not. I'm not going to sure how I'm going to get. I don't know whether I want these public or not. So I'll talk to Josephine and work out whether we put them public or we just give the people that are involved with this. We'll just put a private group in for people, and they can just sign into them. I'm not sure how we're going to do it, but anyway, it will be out the next one next year, because it'll be next month, because it'll be in the middle of your night, 3 o'clock in the morning. Unless you want to get up nice and early, you can come to it. Have a cup of tea in the middle of the night. Be cool, everybody. And if you have any questions outside, but if you can't wait for a whole month, just message me. You're very welcome. Anyway, have a beautiful day, beautiful night, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.